What is up, guys? How we doing? So Chase Sexton needs a break. I'm gonna break down some numbers on what he's done the last few years. It's crazy. Hayden Deegan found a way to tell everybody to suck it. And he didn't even say suck it, although the crowd in Paula was just begging, like, please tell him to suck it. I love what he's bringing, and I'm gonna show you what he did this time. If you haven't tried Nano-Extreme, I'm telling you, you are missing out. This is the best pain solution that I've ever used. And all of us that ride dirt bikes deal with a lot of pain. Head over to Nano-Extreme, use code COOKSY, and I'm telling you, you will thank me later. So if you got something big that you're training for this summer, in the fall, whenever, you've got a few more days to click the link down below and you can get a 30-minute consultation with the man himself, Coach Rob Beams. He'll let you know if you're on the right track or what you need to do. It's crazy and how much you will learn in a 30-minute conversation with the man himself, Coach Rob. Knowing Coach, I don't see how he limits it to 30 minutes. Good chance you're gonna get closer to an hour from Coach Rob. So click that link and get your conversation with Coach Rob. And as you'll see behind me, I got the new Power Sports XQi3 motorcycle. I got Brandon coming over here. We're gonna do a little video, break down the bike, and I'm gonna do a head-to-head comparison with Suron. And we are giving one of these bikes away in December to a member. So all you gotta do is be a member and you will be entered to win the new Power Sports XQi3 motorcycle.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So what I saw from Chase Sexton last week at Paula, that might have been the worst start to a national series that any defending champion has ever had. I mean, we've had guys miss the race, but we've never had a guy go out there and implode the way that Chase did. He had dirt in his goggles. First off, let's start with the beginning qualifier. He was slow in the early qualifier. He didn't look happy. He did much better in the second qualifier. He went out there in that first moto, had dirt in his goggles, freaked out, and instead of pulling over and getting the dirt out, he tossed the goggles completely, which was crazy. I was shocked that he was able to do that over one jump. I don't know if you've ever tried to get your goggles off your helmet in the midair. It is not good, because if you get them halfway, then you land blind, it's crazy. But what I saw with Chase Sexton was more alarming than just a bad day. He looks burnt out, and he should be. Holy crap. I went back and looked at the races this guy's competed in. Of the last 107 races, Chase Sexton has raced 103 of those races. And he is consistently emptying the tank every single weekend, traveling, training, testing, all that. And this dude has showed up 96% of the time to give his all. He needs a break so bad. And this is different than some guy like Kyle Chisholm or Grant Harlan. Hats off to those guys. They're bad dudes. But when you ride in that top three and go for that podium and you have factories and all these people pulling at you, it's a different level of stress. It's virtually impossible to do what Chase Sexton has done and not be burned out. Since Jett has moved to the 450 class, there's been 62 races. He's competed in 43 of those. So his completion rate is 69%. This is a younger, fresher athlete who still only made it to 69% of the races. And we're talking 69, not 107 like what Sexton has done. In the last 79 major races for Eli Tomac, he's competed in 43. He's got a 53% attendance record, which, I mean, that's probably about what it should be for a professional athlete considering the schedule they run. Hunter Lawrence, another guy that's been running up there in the front, charging. He has made 35 of the last 48 races. That's a 72% rate. The only guy with even a close to Chase Sexton percentage in showing up was his teammate, Aaron Plessinger. But he hasn't had to carry the load battling for championships. He gets days where all eyes are not on him. He gets to go have fun. Out of the last 51 races, Aaron Plessinger has made it to 46 of those. He's got a 90% show-up rate, which is pretty good, but we're talking half the races almost that we're in comparison. You look at Cooper Webb, he's essentially taken the outdoors off every single year. In the last 79 races, he's competed in 59 of those. So he's at a 75% show-up rate. When they implemented the SMX, which was only 2 extra rounds, because you got to remember, they took away 1 outdoor round and then they added the 3 SMX. So it only added 2 extra races, but it matters. And this isn't like an off-season race where they go, there's not a lot of pressure. It doesn't matter if they win, all eyes aren't on them. These are for championships, major championships that matter. They're on television. We're judging them. All the top stars are there. Could you imagine telling marathon runners, hey, I know 26 miles is a long ways, but you're going to have to go 28 from now on. That extra 2 miles matters. They're already emptying the tank at 26. That's what they've done to these racers. If you look at a lot of the past stars, as they aged, they all went to Supercross only or outdoor only, and they took time off because you cannot maintain the schedule that Chase Sexton's on and have a long career. It's just impossible. This is one of the most physically demanding, if not the most physically demanding sport. It is probably the most dangerous in addition. You're counting on a machine. A lot of these guys get hurt when their bikes break because they're going so fast. You are trying, like, I don't see how Chase Sexton actually did 103 of 107 events to begin with. That is crazy. And think back to all the big crashes that he's had. And most of the time, he didn't even sit out. He popped right back up. The amount of abuse this guy's been able to endure, it's superhuman. So as much as I actually love the SMX, the 3 rounds at the end, as fans, it really does give us something. But it needs to be adjusted so guys don't have to do indoors and outdoors. Maybe you score those points separately. I don't know what you could do, but there's got to be some sort of an adjustment so these guys can take off one of the 2 series and still be eligible for SMX if you want to make that the Premier Championship. If not, we're going to have a plethora of top guys who cannot make the entire season. Coach Rob, who is the most educated person I know when it comes to physiology, it blew his mind that they were adding races to an already crazy series that guys already said was too long. It's already too long, and then they added 2 more, and they didn't just add fun races. These are championship races that matter, and they're squeezing every ounce out of this talent. So as much as I love seeing the stars out there, and how great was it last weekend? You know, they talked about deep field. Well, it's only going to be a deep field for a couple rounds, and Sexton's already out. They're saying he could come back as soon as Redbud. I hope he doesn't. I hope he sits out, takes the time he needs to fully recover, because if he comes back to Redbud, that means he's only really got 1 or 2 weeks off, and then he's back testing, getting ready. And now this is where it's going to get tricky with KTM. He's not signed with them for next year. He's going to Kawasaki. They don't care if they burn him out. They paid for him to enter these races and be a part of these races, so they don't care. They're like, go out there, give us everything you have. We're paying you. And I understand their point. Why do you want to save a guy and make him fresh so he can compete against you next year? So I understand their point of view. But if there's any hope that Chase Sexton lasts as long as Eli Tomac, Ken Roczen, and these guys who are a little bit older racing into their mid-30s, he has to take a break. If I was in his corner, I would say, you know what? My shoulder hurts. It's not right. It's not right. Take the entire outdoor series off. Show up at SMX if you feel like it. I wouldn't even be mad if he skipped SMX and just took off the rest of this year. If that gives him 3 or 4 more years at the end of his career, go for it. And that's me being selfish as a fan, but I understand how KTM would be pissed. But his new employer, Kawasaki, is probably like, hey, please rest up. We need you healthy. And they probably want him to rest. So it's this weird thing going on. Watch it close. It's going to get weird. And I even heard that Chase was at KTM, and it got really heated when he told them that he did want to sit out a few rounds. Call it a shoulder injury, a head injury, whatever you want to call it. He was banged up. That was a nasty crash, and he looked burned out before the crash. Stars in this sport sell tickets. We need the stars to survive. It's hard to rebuild somebody when you have that kind of name recognition. So the promoters are cutting their own throats by running these guys to the ground. They're going to have less stars. They're going to have more guys that just have 3, 4, 5-year careers because the schedule is just, it's grueling and is wearing these guys down. Coach Rob warned us about it, and we're starting to see that fatigue. Here it is, the 3rd year with the extra SMX series. So I want to give you guys a little heads up. There was the owner of X Brand Goggles, Rich Taylor, and they had the lawsuit that eventually led to, it was a major factor in shutting down LACR, one of the most popular tracks in Southern California. Clearly it hurt their sales, and they're trying to rebrand. They're ditching X Brand and they're going with Lucid. When you see Lucid goggles, just know it's X Brand. It's the same people that sued and had a very big role in getting Southern California track LACR shut down. So while you think you're real slick, Rich Taylor, you're not. Lucid is X Brand, just so you guys know. Speaking of a goggle company that definitely won't sue your local track, check out Ride Strap. Some of the coolest stuff, good people, and like I said, they would never sue a track. They believe in the right things for the right reasons. Ridestrap.com. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. This is a shipping company that believes in customer service, reasonable pricing, they're family owned, they're just good people. So hit up pretransport.com. And if you are training for something, check out the bicycle gear that Alias MX has. We're still waiting on their 2026 gear to drop. It will be here pretty soon and it's gonna go fast, but they still have bicycle gear if you are training. So head over to aliasmx.com and see what they have to offer. So the Deegs, he's at it again. His social media, I'm so glad he unblocked me because it is fun to watch the stuff that he posts. He truly doesn't care. He does not mind being the bad guy, showing the little kid, I think it was Jagger Craig that was dressed up as a security guard to make fun of, Jett Lawrence and their security guard. But the fans love it. Give the people what they want. They were screaming at him on the podium, tell him to suck it.
Suck it!
And then him doing the Kenny Powers over the finish line where you, that was so funny. You gotta love Deegs. He does not care. And they're idiots. If these guys would just get out of the way and let him be who he is bringing a whole new generation of viewers to the sport. If they'd quit trying to control him and just let him be him, he will make them so much money. He is so popular. Love him, hate him. He inspires you to care. And that's all you really want. As a promoter, you want people to care about these races. You want to see them tune in to see the guy lose or to win. It doesn't matter. You still get their emotional attachment and they're still watching whether they want to see a guy lose or whether they want to see a guy win. And one of my regular listens every week is I listen to the Racer X review pod with Jason Wygant, Jason Thomas, and Steve Mattress. I find it hilarious that Steve Mattress was so critical of Hayden Deegan telling people to suck it. And he said, suck it like 4 times. Like, hypocrite? Mathis is so jealous that JT and Weeds are taking off. And the broadcast team this year is so good for outdoors. I absolutely love it. 0 complaints. Thomas and Wygant and James Stewart, they are bringing a level of description and real opinions that we need in this sport. They did such a great job. And it is killing Mathis that they're lapping him career-wise. He pretends like he's joking, but you can hear it in his voice how bad it hurts him that they've gotten to a different level that he wants to, and he's stuck doing his own little thing, which he's pretty successful at. Don't get me wrong. He does a great job at what he does, but dude, let it go. Your buddies are very good at what they do, and they're successful. Be happy for them. But Racer X needs to stop trying to control Hayden Deegan. Let him be who he is. Love him or hate him, he will draw fans and make everybody around this sport more money because he will bring attention, and he's so good at it. And we've never had a rider in this generation of instant media. We had Rick Johnson, Jason Lawrence, and these guys who really spoke up and did what they could with what was available to them. I can only imagine what these guys would have done in the social media era where they got to put out their own opinions. We'd probably see about what we're seeing from Hayden Deegan. And as much as you guys say, oh, I just want the positive stuff, you're being too negative. Well, why do you guys click more on the negative videos than you do the positive videos? That tells me what you want to watch, whether you think you do or you don't, if the views go way up when I talk about the negative stuff. So don't get mad when people put out negative stuff because you really want to see it. It's like a guilty pleasure. Whether you want to be mad or you want to be happy. I know, I've been a little bit hard on the Lawrence camp lately. Jett in particular, and it is really hard to dislike Jett. He seems like a really likable kid, but the people around him are complete scumbags. And no, I don't think Jett's a racist. And I might have been a bit hard on, Honda and, and the Lawrence family for having that security guard because there are real threats out there. I know the kind of crap I get in my DMs. I don't give a crap. These people, I'm smart enough to know these people who threaten me on the internet, when I see them, they'll either cower down, or if they actually did confront me, they're probably going to cry and try and sue me after I beat their ass. But I also understand if you want to have security for Jett, no problem. Put him in plain clothes. Put him in plain clothes and actually watch him. The only reason I had such a problem with this security guard were the optics. This guy's dressed like he's doing a SWAT raid on a cartel. Come on, man. And he's up there holding the umbrella on the starting line. How's he going to defend Jett if he's holding the umbrella? You're going to get the jump on him. But I do understand them wanting security for Jett. He's a very important person to Honda. He's a very important person to the sport. I'm sure he got some really dirty threats. I know, I get them myself. But I will say, I listened to a show, Trackside with Jay. He's awesome. If you're not subscribed to Trackside with Jay, I really think you should. He's got some interesting takes. He's intelligent, and he had a different view on that situation than I did.
Right. And what I see is, let's say like the woman right here, the woman who was at the race. That's shocking and surprising to some people, but they're looking for something because their perception is off. So they're seeing this woman's like, why is this woman here? And they're like worked up about it. But this woman's been there. I've seen her before. She was there at Super Motocross Championship last year. She was right there doing the same thing. Look at that bun. Look at them hoops. Man, if she won't happy, she wouldn't be there. She is one of them ones, I could tell. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Listen, and Jett, congratulations. You got one of them Mayweather bodyguards, them big summer guns. He will jack you up. You see how he hold that umbrella? Man, he'll hold your neck like that, man. So that's it. I ain't gonna talk too much more about that. Some people kind of sensitive, but hey, that's just my take on it from a Christ-like perspective as a believer, and one who's just trying to give a mature answer about all of this. Don't let the devil use you. All right. Don't let him use your perception or take your heart of the matter and use it against you, because that's what he's going to do. So I propose this question before we wrap the show up. What is he supposed to do? Not get a bodyguard and come out there and get clapped by a fan who's angry about this whole thing? But what is Honda supposed to do with the woman who's been there before? Hey, you can't come this time because it doesn't look good.
And he really got my attention with talking about Trish, who works at Honda, and yes, I guess she's worked there for a long time, and attends more races than I thought she did. My source over at Honda was disgusted in the way that was handled. I read you guys in the last video what was told to me, but it was pretty obvious how they shoved her right in the camera shot. When Jett's got his hands in his face down, that's not the time. But they wanted to make sure they got Trish on camera, and so they sent her in there. I had no problem with her being down there, celebrating on the podium, but to be right there in every camera shot, it was pretty obvious that what they were trying to do. So while I agree, and I've definitely changed my point of view a little bit, I listened to what Trackside had to say, and yeah, Jay had a great view on this, and I was a bit over the top with the way that I presented it. You know what? The truth is probably not where Jay's at, not where I'm at. It's probably somewhere in the middle. But what I can't live with is the scumbags around this sport and the environment that's been created to kind of protect them. Don't forget, a couple years ago, Davey Coombs had a registered sex offender, a violent sex offender, renting golf carts at Loretta Lynn's, an event geared towards youth where they're camping out overnight. Really? And then instead of, calling it out and being, oh my gosh, we missed this, he actually defended that family and that guy. I don't know if he's still there or not. I haven't seen him around or heard of him being around. I would imagine he has to go. You can't have someone like that at a youth event overnight with camping where kids are running wild. But these predators, they love youth sporting events, and they come in and they want to sponsor and they want to be a part of and they want to teach and they want to act like they're all good. I just want to say thank you to all the people in the New York area who sent this to me. It came from a lot of different people. You guys are keeping your eyes open, and that's what we have to do to keep these scumbags from infiltrating our sport. If you have a creep in the pits, do not look the other way. Do not think someone else will do it. Speak up. The one thing these dirtbags fear is being found out. So if they know they are not safe in the pits at a supercross, motocross, and even amateur motocross race, they will think twice before they infiltrate these events. Right now, we're wide open in the environment that's been created by Davey Coombs, MX Sports. This one of silence has been a breeding ground for these evil predators. But I appreciate you guys for calling this out, and we will not tolerate it. If you're going to be a dirtbag and put our kids at risk, get the hell out of here. We don't need you around. All right, guys, we got Hangtown this weekend. Can Jett back up that crazy performance that he had last weekend? We know Tomac's good at Hangtown. He has had some incredible rides. Let's not forget, he won his very first national at Hangtown. He beat the field by like a minute and a half in both motos when he was on the Geico Honda. He has ridden this track really good. Jett has bad memories. That's where he went for that big jump last year and essentially ended his season. If Jett gets out of Hangtown with a 1-1, we can start talking undefeated season, greatest ever, and all the different things, because this is a deep field. Even without Chase Sexton, this is a deep field. You have the reigning world champion, you've got Cooper Webb, Jason Anderson, Justin Cooper, who's really good outdoors, Eli Tomac. I mean, it's stacked. But I'll do a full Hangtown breakdown in the next couple of days. So thank you guys. I appreciate all you members in particular. We're getting real close. In a couple of days, we're going to give away the 32-ounce bottle of Nano Xtreme. That's a $400 value. And then in December, somebody's getting a motorcycle from New Power Sports. Thanks, guys. Here's your member of the day.